Welcome, everyone. We are live with another episode of Level Up Law, where every Tuesday at noon, South Carolina Legal Services is leveling up your legal knowledge about an area of law that we practice in. I'm Susan Ingalls at South Carolina Legal Services. I'm a senior staff attorney and consumer law unit head, and I am joined today by Frederick Wilson, who is the Executive Director of the South Carolina Respite Coalition. So, Frederick, welcome, first of all, to Level Up Law. We appreciate you being with us today. And I just want to let our audience and viewers and listeners know that we are recording this episode, so it will be posted on our YouTube channel. I'm joined today also by Kenneth Elliott, who is the producer of Level Up Law, and he's in the background. We don't get to see his face, but maybe one of these days we will. But anyway, thank you for being here. We do want to let our viewers and listeners know that this is not legal advice, since South Carolina Legal Services is a law firm, so we always have to say that none of this is legal advice, but today we're just sharing information from one of our great partners that we collaborate here with here at Legal Services, and really appreciate all the work that the Respite Coalition does, so we definitely want to highlight that work. It is Older Americans Month, so that's very important, and it's important to have folks like the Respite Coalition on our show in a month like this, so we can share all the resources that are out there and some information as well. So let's just go ahead and get started, shall we? Frederick,
Yes.
welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, I thought it would be really good to make sure that we just initially say, what is respite? What are we talking about when we say respite?
Well, before I dive into the definition of respite, thank you, Susan, for the opportunity to share. We value our partnership with the South Carolina Legal Services. I want to also thank the Board of Directors, Executive Director, and our friends at SC Legal Services for all the work that you all are doing across the state of South Carolina. Again, we truly value our partnership. What is respite? Susan, I'm glad you asked. Well, respite is a temporary short break from providing hands-on care for a loved one who has a significant disability, special need, or chronic illness. It is really an opportunity for caregivers to rest, relax, and recharge. It reduces fatigue, stress, and isolation, improves caregiver health, stabilizes families, and helps avoid and delay costly out-of-home care placement. There are a lot of stats as it relates to respite. Rosalind Carter, the former First Lady of the United States and wife of President Jimmy Carter, is often quoted. There are only 4 kinds of people in the world: those who have been a caregiver, those who are caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers. We all fall into one of those categories. And 1 in 4 South Carolina adults are caregivers. And there are 610 million hours of unpaid care that is provided by annually by South Carolina caregivers. 1 in 5 South Carolina residents will be age 65 or older by 2030. And 92,000 people in South Carolina live with Alzheimer's disease. So respite is the need most frequently identified by family caregivers of all ages, and it is an important need in South Carolina.
So it goes without saying that the mission of your organization is to support those people who are giving that care, because those are some really incredible numbers. So can you just sort of encapsulate what sort of the mission of the coalition is?
Well, the mission is dear to my heart because I am a caregiver as well. My wife and I have two sons living with autism. Um, my wife and I are caregivers of my parents, our elderly parents down in Williamsburg County, along with my siblings. We understand the value of respite. So the South Carolina Respite Coalition is the only entity in the state committed to addressing the needs for respite across the lifespan, which is from birth to end of life, for all people who caring for a child or adult who has special needs. Uh, we raise awareness about respite, highlighting that respite is a medical and mental health necessity for family caregivers. We bring together organizations working on respite. We work with faith communities and educate policymakers and the public on the need for respite statewide.
Okay, well, let's get down into the details of all of that. And before we go too far in that, I do want to mention that you have a really neat tool on your website, and we'll give the website information once we're finished talking here today. But it's called the Family Caregiver Burden Assessment. And I was really interested in that. And I think anyone who's out there who is a caregiver to any degree, I know I am one of 3 caregivers, my brother and sister as well. And you know, caregiver is can mean all kinds of things. But my dad is a 96-year-old veteran, and so the 3 of us all live in the same town with him here in Greenville. And luckily, since there's 3 of us, there's not a lot of need for respite, because you know it's kind of a team factor when he needs us. But I think it's really important to know and to really think about what that burden is, you know, because I don't, of course, think about it as a burden, but you do need to think about how that is affecting you as a person, no matter what you're doing. So I definitely want to recommend that to our audience.
Yes, and oftentimes caregivers are so entrenched in providing care that we neglect ourselves. We're so focused on caring for our loved one. Our health is often neglected. Our emotional, spiritual, mental health well-being um, oftentimes are forgotten because we are so focused, we're zero focused on providing care for our loved one. So that assessment tool that's on our website really helps caregivers to understand, although you may have other family members and friends who may help out, respite is needed to give you a break because all of us as caregivers need a temporary break every so often so
Mhm.
that we can recharge, relax, and rest.
Yeah, for sure. So, in all of the things that you do there, you gave some really important statistics, I think. So, any more of those that come along, definitely let us know, because I think those are the facts that what people need to know that make your organization so important in the work you do. But share with us some of well, first of all, I was going to say, let's talk about some of your initiatives and projects, but just one more about your website, because, yesterday was Memorial Day, and although we celebrate the lives of the fallen on Memorial Day, it does make me think of our veterans, who my dad is one of those. And thankfully he's doing really great and doesn't need a lot of care from us, but I do want to think about our veterans, and you do have some resources linked on your website for veterans and the respite and other care that they can receive.
Yes, and one of our partners is the VA Medical Center here in Columbia, and VA medical centers across the state. There is a program called the VA Caregiver Support Program. It is a wonderful program provided by the VA to address the needs of caregivers, such as adult day health care centers, home-based primary care, skilled home care, home health aid programs, respite care, hospice care, care coordination, home telehealth programs, home improvement structural act programs. There's even a VA caregiver support line, a toll-free number veterans can call Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. until 11 p.m. and on Saturdays from 10:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. And that telephone number, that toll-free number, is 1-855-260-3274. Again, the VA caregiver support line is 1-855-260-3274. The support line is here to help veterans, spouses, uh, mother or father, sister or brother, daughter or son, or a loving friend who cares for a veteran. It's a really good support line, and it's well staffed with licensed persons such as social workers to assist veterans and their families who are particularly caregivers.
That's so great. Well, let's talk about, thank you for that information and for sharing that hotline so that our viewers can check it out. Let me then go back to some of the programs and initiatives that you guys have, because you're doing some great work out there. Let's hear about it.
Yes, and we're really excited about the work that we're doing to address the needs for respite across the lifespan for all people caring for a loved one. We provide a $500 respite voucher to eligible family caregivers through the federal lifespan grant that we were awarded. And I would like to take a moment to really dive into the respite voucher that is offered through our office. The focus of the Lifespan Respite Voucher Program is caregiver relief. Our organization awards vouchers in the amount of $500 to eligible family caregivers. Our capable staff works with each approved family caregiver. Our staff works with each approved family to find the best respite option for their needs. Vouchers are only used to pay for breaks from hands-on caregiving. So these vouchers may not be used for the following: the family caregiver directly for the care he or she is providing, pay a family member who currently lives in the home, pay for care while the family caregiver goes to work, pay for care that occurred before the voucher was issued, pay medical bills or purchase medical supplies, or offset the cost of paid care already in place. And so if you're interested in our Respite Voucher program, and it is available now, just please call us. Call us, call us. Our telephone number is 803-935-5027. And our capable, efficient staff will help you. They will answer any questions that you have, and they will take their time to address your questions and assist you with the application process. We're here to meet the needs of family caregivers in South Carolina. And this is a wonderful program that is available for family caregivers in South Carolina. If you are 60 years old or older, then we will refer you to another program that is offered and provided for seniors through the AAAs, the Area Agencies on Aging, under the South Carolina Department on Aging. They provide a $2,500 voucher for family caregivers. And it's a wonderful program. It's called the South Carolina Family Caregiver Support Program through the South Carolina Department on Aging. And we are partners with SCDOA, and we are happy to partner with them, and they assist us as we address the needs for respite across the lifespan. And so there are a plethora of services that's available for our seniors. And caregivers must be age 18 or older, unpaid for their caregiving, and they must meet one of the following criteria: providing care for individuals who are 60 years old or older, providing care to individuals of any age with Alzheimer's disease or related dementia, an older relative, not a parent, age 55 and older, who is the primary caregiver of a child under 18, an older relative, including parents, age 55 and older, providing care for adults 18 to 59 with disabilities. So that's a wonderful opportunity, and our staff will refer the appropriate persons to the appropriate AAA or area agencies on aging where persons who are calling are residing.
Yeah, that is so wonderful for our folks out there in the audience to know about, and just so they know, we will repeat that phone number at the end of the presentation. It'll be on the screen, and we'll go over all that contact information again, because that is so important to have those number, website, and so forth, email address at the ready. So we'll again repeat those at the end of today's episode. So tell us what other, I know there's other programs, so let's talk about another one.
Yes, and we also coach on how to train and select respite care providers. We share what we know about the benefits of a break for the health of caregivers as well as care receivers. We partner with caregiver support organizations such as the VA, South Carolina Department on Aging, South Carolina Department on Disabilities and Special Needs, and numerous other nonprofit organizations serving the disabilities community and aging communities. We work with faith communities, and faith communities are tremendous partners in our work to address respite. And I'll talk more about a project that we're doing with faith communities. And we work with faith communities to expand respite opportunities in local areas across the state. We even provide scholarship opportunities for those in financial need to attend special needs camps. So there are roughly 8 special needs camps across the state that we are providing scholarships for children with special needs to participate and enjoy this summer. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, that's particularly, well, all of that, of course, but the summer camp, I mean, that's so important, and not everybody can afford the cost of that. There are people who can afford to send their loved one there, but certainly not everybody. And to be able to provide a scholarship for those who can't afford the camp on their own, it's just, I think, a wonderful thing that you guys are doing.
And again, if you would like to apply for a scholarship for your child to attend a special needs camp, contact our office today. Contact our office today. Many of the spots are moving very fast, as you can imagine. So please contact our office and ask to speak with a staff member regarding um, a scholarship for a special needs camp. And our staff is just waiting to serve you and to answer any questions and to help you with the application process. Um, we lead our SCORE, which is the State Committee on Respite. I know there are several other SCOREs across the state of South Carolina. That's a popular acronym, but we have our own SCORE in the respite arena, and it is the State Committee on Respite. We and I'll talk a little more about our State Committee on Respite and also our regional advisory councils. Our regional advisory councils serve 4 regions of the state: the upstate, the PD, the Midlands, and the Low Country. And I'll talk more about uh, our regional advisory committees in a little bit. And we have those 2 entities, the State Committee on Respite and the Regional Advisory Councils, to engage community and statewide organizations in supporting respite efforts. We facilitate the Family Select Respite Program for the South Carolina Department of Disabilities and Special Needs by ensuring respite care providers receive required training and are in compliance with state and Medicaid requirements. And lastly, we also partner with the South Carolina Department on Aging in the implementation of state and federal lifespan respite initiatives.
Wow. That is a pretty good laundry list, I would say. Let's go back to
We are very
community.
busy.
And I'd love for our audience to hear about the initiative you have called the break rooms.
Oh, yes. Well, in addition to my role as the executive director of the South Carolina Respite Coalition, I am a pastor. I am an ordained itinerant elder in the African Methodist Episcopal Church, and I serve as the pastor of Live Oak AME Church in Vance, South Carolina. And working with faith communities is indeed a joy. We launched an exciting new project in 2019 called the Respite Breakroom Project. And it is a project that we launched in partnership with the South Carolina Department on Aging. A respite break room is a faith or community-based respite model designed to give a family caregiver a break from their caregiving responsibility so they can rest, relax, and recharge. It is a respite site, a physical space, a safe space, a sacred space, staffed primarily by volunteers from the community and within the local faith community, where family caregivers can bring their loved one with special needs or disability to participate in activities and socialize with others in a safe, comfortable, familiar, and engaging place at a house of worship or a community-based facility. So these respite break room projects are housed at churches and or community-based facilities. I would love to share with you what we are. I'm sorry, I dropped a piece of paper, but I want to share with you that we have 11 break rooms 11 break rooms across the state of South Carolina at various congregations across the state of South Carolina. And we're really excited about the growth of these break rooms and how they are blossoming and growing. We have break rooms in the Low Country, the PD, the Midlands area of our state, where they are serving within their local congregations and serving their communities. And these break rooms are open to the public, and these break rooms are safe, familiar spaces with trained staff, trained volunteers who lovingly care for our family members so that our family caregivers can have a break for 2 hours or so, 2, 3 hours. These are spaces where churches may do it on Sunday mornings, so the family caregiver could attend worship. Other break rooms do it during the week, so that a family caregiver could just simply take a break during the week. And so these respite break rooms are providing a ministry, providing a service to their community. And it's really an innovative process. We use a mini grant process. Faith-based and community organizations apply to participate. The South Carolina Department on Aging and the Respite Coalition select congregations or organizations to launch the program. The South Carolina Respite Coalition provides training and technical support to the selected programs to help them establish and successfully administer the respite break rooms. Each program will face unique circumstances and progress at different rates while serving the respite needs of their communities. If you are interested, if your faith community or community-based organization, such as a senior center, we're not limited to churches and mosques and temples, but we open it up to senior centers and other community-based organizations and nonprofits who may be interested in housing a respite break room in their facility. And if you're interested, again, contact our office if you are interested in applying.
It's such a unique, I think innovative idea, as you said, it's innovative. And I like the fact that you're exploring these other needs that caregivers have, such as, enjoying the spiritual side of their lives and being able to attend services, or just be able to have a break. The break rooms idea, I think, is wonderful, and I certainly look forward to seeing more and more of those throughout the state, because you definitely identified an important need that caregivers have besides just a break, besides, kind of the standard things that we think about when we think about what caregivers need. They have lives, and their religious worship is part of that quite often. And so I think it's a wonderful program, and I applaud y'all for doing it, because I think it really has an impact, and it's not something that folks, always think about. So, I think you're having a great impact on our communities here in South Carolina. Can you speak maybe a little more about that and how you identify these, kind of concerns um, that you have or that caregivers' needs are?
Well, yes. Well, um, and I would love to share with you how we are engaging in local communities. We are using regional respite advisory councils to
Right.
further outreach, engagement, and collaboration with family caregivers and community partners. We have 4 regional advisory councils, the upstate, the Midlands, the PD, and the Low Country. Regional advisory councils consist of regional staff of state agencies, area agencies on aging, respite providers, caregiving organizations, faith communities, and other local entities. They provide localized insight into the needs and available services related to respite and family caregivers. They also serve as local dissemination points for lifespan respite information and resources. These councils are vitally important. Like most states, South Carolina has a unique makeup where demographics, needs, and services vary widely depending on the area. The needs are different in the upstate versus the low country, and the PD versus the Midlands, or even as specific as the Grand Strand from the Sand Hills areas of the state. So these respite advisory councils, these regional councils, really help us to listen to what folks are saying from the various regions of the state, what the needs are across the state, um, and really provide us with the information we need to create programs that specifically address the needs of these various communities. And we're using the regional councils to further outreach, engagement, and collaboration by um, engaging in these 4 points. Number 1, community partner benefits. Um, Community partners benefit from these councils. It increased collaboration with other agencies and state and service providers in the area. Uh, it increased collaboration between the AAAs and Lifespan. Um, there are family caregiver benefits because it provides access to local, regional, and statewide information that can assist them with respite or other services. Um, and also, attending a local event is much more feasible than attending a statewide event. Um, and our respite break rooms are in the process of planning a respite resource fair for each region of the state during the month of November. So this year, the regional advisory councils are being mobilized to plan and implement a regional respite resource event during National Family Caregiver Month in November. So the upstate will have an event. Yeah. So the
That's
upstate will have an event, the Midlands will have an event, the PD will have an event, and the Low Country will have an event. And these events in November, and you will receive information about each of these events in the latter part of the summer. Location and all of the services and resources that will be shared um, at the respite resource fairs. The November events will serve as a jump start to Respite Awareness Day, which will be held at the state capitol in February of 2025. So these regional events in November will hopefully create momentum for attendance and participation at SC Respite Day at the legislature in February of 2025. And this is a big event that is held every year at the State House. We gather family caregivers and friends and partners from across the state every February to meet us at the state capitol, where we raise awareness about respite, highlighting that respite is a medical and mental health necessity for family caregivers. And we address at this event, we highlight the identified needs for respite in South Carolina, such as available funding to provide increased respite vouchers to family caregivers, family caregiver training, centralized coordinated system for respite, increase in standard pay for care providers, and workforce development for respite care providers. So we go to the State House to inform the public and our elected officials of the invaluable work done by our state's unpaid family caregivers.
That's so good to know about that. There's that kind of acknowledgement about the needs of caregivers and particularly the respite factor because, as you said, you guys are touching on everything, whether it be partnerships, collaborations with other organizations, really continuing to create new initiatives by getting that feedback from your advisory councils, and of course, the advisory councils being so involved in your outreach and new events and stuff like that. There is no limit to what you guys can do because you are sure busy. What do you think, just to kind of wrap everything up, what do you think is sort of, I know you can't really prioritize because all of it is so important, but just looking ahead to the future, not just with the coalition, but for caregiving in general, what do you see as sort of the most important things that we need to think about for all of us who collaborate with y'all and who are caregivers and so forth? What do we need to be sort of expecting as we, navigate the path and the journey? What are the different options that you're looking
Yes.
at?
Well, again, respite. Respite is the need most frequently identified by family caregivers of all ages. Um, and again, the data speaks for itself. 1 in 4 South Carolina adults are family caregivers. 222,478 South Carolina children have special health care needs. There are over 95,000 South Carolina children enrolled in special education. There are 610 million hours of unpaid care that is provided annually by South Carolina family caregivers. Again, as I mentioned earlier, there are over 92,000 people in South Carolina living with Alzheimer's disease. 7.6 billion worth of care is provided annually by South Carolina family caregivers. Over 20 weekly hours of care are provided by nearly a third of South Carolina family caregivers. So there is a tremendous need for respite, for support from our and the South Carolina Respite Coalition has been on the forefront of addressing the need for respite across the lifespan. We partner with the South Carolina Department on Aging and the South Carolina Department of Disabilities and Special Needs. And we're working with families and communities to address the need of respite every day. So we are advocating and educating about the need for respite and and increased resources and increased assistance that is needed to address the needs of respite across the state.
Well, it's so great to hear about not only the good work that you're doing now, but all the information, the statistics don't lie. And that is so important to know all of those statistics, get that feedback from caregivers themselves, having your advisory councils who are taking in information and giving out information as well. I just want to thank you for being on Level Up Law today, Frederick, and sharing all this great information. And I encourage our audience to go to the website, and I'm going to go ahead now and show my screen. I think you can see that. And that has the wonderful logo that you guys have, South Carolina Respite Coalition. Do you see it there?
Yes,
Okay.
and also, Susan, I would like to also add that we have the State Committee on Respite, and we assemble a diverse group of state leaders in respite to develop a state plan for lifespan respite and guide the development of a coordinated system of caregivers. The purpose is to increase awareness and understanding of provider services, caregiver needs, and barriers to and gaps in services across the lifespan. We have a score, the State Committee on Respite, and we have members on our score from SCDOA to Medicaid, to disabilities and special needs, the health departments, children with special health care needs, to social services, APS, foster care, DD Council, Family Connections of South Carolina, Autism Society, SC Thrive, Alzheimer's Association, Spinal Cord Injury Association, faith-based organizations, healthcare, federally qualified health centers, and the list goes on of participants on the score. And we are updating our state plan for respite. We developed one in 2012, 2018, and 2025. We're working on one. We're updating it now for 2025. And so please go to our website to learn more about the Respite Coalition. If you're interested in joining the SCORE or interested in joining our regional councils, please contact us. Our email is before you. Just send us an email. We would love to to invite you to join our efforts across the state. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you being with us today. I know you've got a lot going on. You're a very busy person, as is everyone there at your organization. And you've got a lot of respite care to provide and resources to provide. So we really appreciate you being here with us today, and for inviting our audience into what you guys are doing at the coalition. Let's just to wrap it up, show everybody our South Carolina Legal Services Connect card, so that if anyone out there in the audience has a legal need, we have an elder law unit that does great work with our older adults who may have a legal issue. I know Frederick and I have worked together on elder financial exploitation as an issue, but we also can help caregivers with legal issues, whether it be a personal legal issue, a legal issue that they're concerned with about a care receiver that they're working with, any number of things. But yeah, just go to our website to apply online, or you can apply by telephone. And as always, you can check us out on all of the social media. And I do want to mention that the Respite Coalition is also on Facebook and LinkedIn. And so you can find them there, as well as they announce all these great events and initiatives that are going on. I do want to thank everyone for being here. Obviously, Frederick, thanks so much for being here. And thanks to our audience. We really appreciate that you join us, whether it's live or on the replay. We get a lot of replay visitors, more than the live sometimes. But we definitely, let's see, there we go. We definitely appreciate everyone being with us. And before we say our final farewell, I do want to remind our viewers that in June we have another great lineup of speakers, and I think you'll really enjoy them. We will be taking a break in July. We'll spend some time evaluating Level Up Law and seeing, what we can do better and what our viewers want. And we, ask that you scan that QR code. That's always important. Right now, it's on, well, it was on the screen, I guess. I can put it back on the screen in just a moment when we conclude. But definitely check us out. You want to get the newsletter that we have. You want to get emails that are letting you know about new educational resources. You'll get emails about Level Up Law and who's going to be on. So we really appreciate our audience. Look forward to another month in June, and then a little bit of a break for July. But again, thanks to our audience for always tuning in. We really appreciate it. And Frederick, thanks so much for joining us. We really do appreciate having you here.
Thank you, Susan, for the opportunity.
Okay. You're very welcome. Appreciate it. And that concludes our webinar for today. Thanks, everybody.